Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been a very long time since I did any YouTube content, but today I wanted to come on finally and just give you a bit of a update on me. I have not been having a very good time. I'm still very much in the situation, but I just wanted to come on here and talk about it. So I'm gonna go back to the very beginning. So we moved in our house on the 17th of January and I was feeling quite tired and just starving hungry. Didn't think anything of it, I just carried on. Just thinking, oh, maybe I'm just, you know, really tired and stressed out with the house. I started getting really bad period pains, like I was gonna come on, nothing was happening. And then I checked my app and I was like, hang on a minute, I'm 2 weeks late on my period. That's really odd for me because I use natural cycles, as I've mentioned before, and I know every month when I'm gonna get my period, and it was 2 weeks late. I was getting period cramps, but nothing was happening. So anyway, I texted my friend and she was like, I think you should do a pregnancy test. And I was like, oh no, like it's just stress, like I'm definitely not pregnant. So in the end, I decided I probably should just do one just to like rule that out. 28th of Jan, I was working from home, popped out on my lunch break and I just got pregnancy test. I got the clear blue one, which tells you how many weeks you are. So anyway, did it and it literally came up straight away saying I was pregnant. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do this without getting upset. Was very shocked. You do the pregnancy test and then that's it, you're like, I'm having a baby. I'm nearly 33, we've bought our house. It was obviously meant to be. My life is going to change a hell of a lot, but actually maybe it's the right time to start a family. When I did the test, it said I was plus 3 weeks, which I was very surprised at because that was quite far along from what I thought I was. I decided to book a private scan because there is such a long period of time between doing a pregnancy test and going for your first scan, and in between you're just like, am I definitely pregnant? Is everything okay? It's like, it's a long time to wait, and when my scan got booked in, it wasn't until 13 weeks, so from 5 weeks to 13 weeks is a really long time. And so I think the private scans, we paid £60 and it's like a nice reassuring thing to do. To like 8 weeks and I was like, I've not been sick at all. Not everyone is sick, but I just feel like I would probably be sick because I feel like I just would be. Like I feel like I would unfortunately get every symptom in the entire world because I'm just so dramatic. I didn't have like tender boobs or anything like that. My skin was really bad, like all round here my skin has been so bad, but apart from that, nothing. I started to get a little bit of a bump, but that is about it really. So I just carried on as normal. So yeah, so just carried on, you know, booking in my midwife appointments, all that lovely stuff. So, yeah, so when we got to 10 weeks I was like, that's probably a good time to go for a scan because, you know, it's not far from your 12 week. Oh God. We went for our 10-week scan, and from using the app I know what a 10-week scan should look like. I remember being really nervous before we went in. He put the screen on and I just instantly knew that something wasn't right because I couldn't see what I thought I was going to see. So it's just so much to take. It was just so much to take in. It was just all such a blur in the space of like a couple of minutes. So the first thing that he confirmed, which I was just not expecting at all, was that it was a twin pregnancy. It was such a shock being pregnant in the first place. Now we're having twins. He measured them and he said either your dates are really off because they aren't measuring what you'd expect for a 10-week pregnancy. They're more 6 weeks, or it's a really unhealthy pregnancy and you wouldn't be able, it wouldn't, yeah, it wouldn't progress any further basically. And yeah, it was just horrible because you start thinking, have I done something wrong? Like, and he, when you go for these scans, they can't give you medical advice. So obviously we were really shocked, really upset. I just came out and just remember there being other people waiting to go in for their scans, and I was just like crying my eyes out, and I just wanted to get out of there as fast as possible because everyone around you is getting good news, and you go to these things thinking, oh, you know, it's gonna be amazing, you know, we're gonna see our baby, and then it's not what you expect, and it is just the worst feeling. It was just horrible. So I rang the hospital where I was having all my scans and where I was gonna have the baby. They said come in tomorrow, the day after, because I was like, I can't wait any longer, like I need to know what's going on. And it's just one of those things, like, had I not had that private scan, I still wouldn't have had my official NHS scan. So I would still be thinking, oh, I'm having a baby. So we went to the hospital, and she asked me to like confirm what he'd said and stuff. Anyway, luckily they got me in the same day for a scan, so I had another ultrasound scan, but because it was only measuring 6 weeks, you can't see if there's a heartbeat or anything at that point on an ultrasound. So I had to have an internal scan, which doesn't hurt or anything. They just put this like wand up there and you can just see a lot more detail. So she did that and she confirmed that it was a twin pregnancy as he'd said. And I was lying there for a good like 20 minutes just feeling like numb, and I just thought to myself, if I didn't have Eamon, like how would I deal with this on my own? Like, he was so good. Like, just laying there like helpless while someone pokes around in you and tells you that you're not, you know, it's not, things don't look right. You can see 2 clear sacs, and in the first one, unfortunately basically nothing developed in there. And then the second one started to develop and then like stopped around 6 weeks, so it was literally like 2 millimeters. It's absolutely tiny, and you can see it. And she checked it for, they use this thing, I can't remember what it's called, Doppler, a colour Doppler, and that checks for like movement, so to check if the heart is beating, and there wasn't a heartbeat. So when they tell you there's no heartbeat, you're just like, yeah, I don't really know. And then you go into a little room and they sit you down and they're like, we need to now sort of discuss how we move forward. A lot of women don't talk about miscarriage, which I understand why in some respects, but for me, I feel like that's really sad that women don't feel they can talk about it, because it is so, unfortunately it's so common. And the worst part about it is there's no reason as to why this happens, it just happens. So she said that like 1 in 4 women miscarry, which is 25%, which is such a lot. But in my situation, a lot of women will have a miscarriage before sometimes they don't even know they're pregnant. It might just naturally happen at home. Unfortunately, in my situation, it hadn't happened, so I didn't know. And it continued to just not happen. So you're just like, go home and you're still pregnant, but you're not having a baby at the end of this. You basically have to have another scan before they can move forward with any treatment, just to 100% make sure there's been no change. When I went for my scan, I was thinking maybe they are 6 weeks. If I work back to the dates that I think I might have fell pregnant, that makes sense. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. So I went home, another week went on, no miscarriage again, and the whole time you're just like waiting for it to happen. It's just, again, mentally draining. I can't even describe how mentally drained I am, physically drained. On top of all of this, before we found out, I also had COVID. So not only was I pregnant, tiredness, I had then got COVID, and having both is just, it just wiped me out. The emotional side of it is just, you have to take time to be in it, deal with it, before you even think about going back to work or any of that stuff. Another week at home and nothing. Went back for my scan, lay there again, have the ultrasound. Again, they tell you, yeah, definitely, unfortunately, they haven't progressed. You're not going to have a baby. So then it was to discuss what we do next. So there's basically 4 options. 1, keep waiting for it to happen naturally. Second option was the medical route. So this is a lot more natural, a lot more non-invasive than the other options. So it basically, you take tablets, and that is meant to bring on the miscarriage, encourage your body to do it itself. The second option was you're awake with a local anaesthetic, and I think it's like a vacuum, which I just thought, no, like I can't be awake for this. I don't, if it comes to that, I don't want to be awake. I don't want to know anything about it. And then the third option, which I was actually decided that I was going to do until I'd like read a bit more, was basically you're sedated. I thought it was like under general anaesthetic, but what it actually is it's in theatre, but they sedate you, so you're still awake but you don't know anything about it. And then you come round like an hour later and everything's done. Now to me that sounded like the best option, because it was just over and done with in an hour. I didn't know anything about it, so I didn't mentally have to deal with going through that. So I felt that that was the best option for me. But then taking some advice, it's actually better to do it the medical way if you can, because you can cause like scarring and stuff. The other options, it's my first pregnancy, I don't want to have problems down the line. I decided to go down the medical route. So with the medical route, they give you a tablet to start your body getting prepared for what's to come. So I took the tablet after I had my scan on the Monday, and then I started bleeding the day after, and it was like normal period but heavier and a lot of clots, so your body's just getting rid of like the tissue and stuff that you had. Now at 6 weeks it shouldn't be that much, but because my dates were 10 weeks, they said my womb lining was thicker, and because I've got twins in there, there's a lot more to get rid of, so it could be quite painful. It could be, you know, really heavy. So yeah, I started bleeding, completely manageable, heavy period. And then I went into hospital on the Thursday, and basically what you do is you stay in all day so they can monitor you. Eamon came with me, bless him, and sat there all day while we just sat and basically waited for things to happen. It is not nice at all. You completely lose your dignity. You see other women that are going through exactly the same thing. The nurses are amazing. I take my hat off. I don't know how they do it. I honestly don't. It must be so hard. So yeah, so I went in. They give you 2 tablets internally, and then you have to just literally lay there for an hour and let the tablets do their thing. So it basically softens your cervix. Again, getting your body ready to miscarry. So I laid there for an hour. The girl next to me had lost a lot of blood, so she got rushed off, and she took her tablets like a couple of minutes before me. So then I was like absolutely panicking inside my head. I was like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? When they put the tablets in as well, like I just got so upset. I was just like, there's no happy ending to this. There's no good outcome to this. And now I've got to just sit here and have tablets shoved up me in front of Eamon and just lay there helpless for an hour thinking what's coming next. So I laid there for an hour. Then you go, basically what you do, this is just so, like, this might be too much information for some people, but again, important to talk about the process of what I've been through and what other women might go through. So basically every time you go to the toilet you have to go in a pan, so that the nurses can basically take it and check that you've miscarried. I was in there from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30. Nothing. Just same period, nothing coming. They gave me another 2 tablets orally to take to get things moving even more. They said get up and move around, that might help. I had really bad period cramps, but just nothing. And I think you know when it's passed, because it's quite different to the clots and that kind of thing. Nothing happened the whole time. So they said we'll leave it till 4:30, and if it's not happened then we'll send you home, you'll be more comfortable at home. And yeah, I just wanted to go home basically. So I went home, carried on bleeding but nothing unmanageable, just normal period pains, and now I'm at the point where it's stopping. What I now have to do is wait further 3 weeks, and then I have to do a pregnancy test because it takes time for the hormones to come out of your body as well. So now I've got to wait 3 weeks, and I don't think that I have had a miscarriage yet. So now I've got to wait another 3 weeks to find out, and if it's positive still, then I have to go back into hospital and discuss what we're going to do next. So unfortunately that is where I have been over the last month or so. I am desperate to get back to normality. I need to start doing something to like get myself back to normal and move on from this. But it is so important to take as much time as you need. Don't let anyone tell you that you need to go back straight away to normal life. No matter how far along, how small your baby was, it doesn't matter. You need to put yourself first. That's why it's really important that I wanted to do this, just to talk about my experience, and if I can help just one other person go through this, then that makes, I guess, this all worthwhile. So I'm going to take some time to focus on the house. I want to focus on getting my body back in a good place, feeling really, you know, energized and fit. If you do have any questions that you do want to ask me, I haven't gone into loads of detail about all of the stuff I've experienced because it's not nice. But if you do want to ask me anything, please feel free, and hopefully I can help you. So I'm just going to take some time now. I'm going to be back hopefully with some exciting things, some fashion hauls, getting back to doing what I love over the next few weeks. Better things will come for me and Eamon, and yeah, it's been a tough time, but I'm glad that I could come on and feel brave enough to talk to you guys about it. I will speak to you soon.